How you doing, guys, and welcome back to another exciting YouTube video. And today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about my Ibanez guitar. Before I bought this guitar, I looked everywhere to try to find some really good reviews on it, and I couldn't find any anywhere. So I decided that I was just going to do my own. And what we've got here, this is the Ibanez S1070PBZ in beautiful cerulean blue. This guitar was actually quite a process for me to get. I never really was much of an Ibanez guy. I've always really favored the EVH Wolfgangs. Back from the Music Man days. And unfortunately, I don't own any of those, but I do have the PV Wolfgangs, and then of course the new EVH Wolfgangs, they're all just amazing guitars. So I started off on this journey because I wanted to get something. I really didn't want anything that had a cutaway on it, and especially on a rib cutaway, because rib cutaway guitars on me, when I'm holding them, they have a tendency to tilt this way, and it makes it kind of hard for me to play. And I've been playing the Wolfgangs for so long, which are flat on the back, so the guitars sit nice and flat when you're standing up. I love the Wolfgangs, but of course they are thick guitars and they have the binding. And a lot of times after a 4-hour show, I would get up in the morning and I have these big bruises because I wear my guitars fairly high. And from the grinding on that binding, from just holding it right there on that edge and just constantly playing, it just would kill my arm. And not to say that I would ever quit playing them, because I won't. I'll just deal with the pain. And I have adjusted my playing style over the years to where I don't have that issue like I used to have. But I wanted to jump out of that boat and into a new boat. And after playing just a bazillion different guitars, different things, and I finally decided I wanted to check out the Ibanez's. And of course, at first, I bought an RG. And I was not a big fan of the RG. I liked the guitar, but then again, it had the cutout. And with the cutout and the way the bodies are designed, when I put my arm on them, it causes the guitar to lean this way. And that's just something I don't have an issue with on the Wolfgangs. So I've always kind of favored the Ibanez S series guitars because I love the thin bodies on them. I just think that's just a great design all the way around. And the few times that I have kind of messed around with them, they felt comfortable, and it just doesn't have that sharp binding, and they're so thin that it really doesn't need all the cutaways on the guitar. But my concern with Ibanez was the thin body, how's it going to sound? Because that's where you get your chunk from. And then Ibanez is notorious for having thin necks. Well, as I've gotten older over the years, when I was younger, I would play guitars. I had a Les Paul and it had a neck like a baseball bat on the back of it. And that's just what I thought I needed to be able to play. But as I have gotten older, I have started playing necks with thinner with thinner necks, and I've really kind of come to enjoy the thinner necks on the guitars. Now the Wolfgang is as thick as I will go with the Eddie Van Halen carve, and anything thicker than that to me just feels like I'm holding a boat oar in my hand. So after a lot of running around playing guitars, running into guitar stores, I finally decided to pull the trigger on an Ibanez. Now, I had to order this, so I really didn't get a chance to play this guitar before I bought it, because it seems like when you go to a guitar store, it seems like you can find every guitar in this world except a guitar you want. And of course, we can order it for you, blah, 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 blah. So I just decided, I'm just going to order one myself. So I ordered one offline, took a chance, got the guitar, and before I decided on this one, I was actually looking at the Prestige. This is a premium, as you may or may not know. And after comparing the two guitars, and I did not get a chance to play them back to back, but I have played premiums and I have played Prestiges, but I've never played them back to back. So it was really kind of a tough call to figure out in the end which one I wanted to order, because I didn't want to order it and send it back, send it back. So I decided on this for a couple of reasons. Looking at the Ibanez Prestige in this guitar, one of the first things was the color combinations on the Prestiges. I'm really not that wild about. But I decided on this one, because it is cheaper, and it's not that I was trying to save money on the guitar, but for the appointments on this guitar, I just found it more appealing than the Prestige. And there's certain things that I like on each guitars. each of the guitars, but there's more things I like on this guitar. The differences being between the Premium and the Prestige. I believe the Premium is probably $600-700 cheaper than a Prestige. This one does have stainless steel frets. I love stainless steel frets. I do not like nickel frets, and for whatever reason, Ibanez puts them on the Prestige line, but not on the Premium line, or not on this Premium line anyway. This one does have stainless steel frets. It has the Ibanez fret treatment on it, which is really good. As you run your hand up and down the neck, there's no sharp points to catch you or cut you or hurt you. It's really smooth. They don't hang out over the edge. They've done a really good job rolling these frets, and they've got them filed. They're very smooth on the edges. So that was a big bonus for me, having the stainless steel frets, simply because stainless steel frets last so long. You'll go through 4 sets of nickel before, even if you ever go through a stainless steel fret. Another thing I really like about this guitar over the Prestige is I don't like the beauty rings around the pickups. I've never been a fan of that. Luckily for me, the EVHs do not have that either. The Prestige does have the rings around it, and I have never liked that. It's just, for me, it's just personally, it's just not a good look. One thing I do really like about this guitar is I do like the color. Now, this isn't my favorite color scheme, but I like this color better than what came on the Prestige. Although I guess it's a burly top they have on a Prestige. It's a very pretty top, and it's a kind of like a sky blue color, and it is a pretty guitar. I just like this better, and I don't know if it's because of the way the top is. I don't know if this is imperfections in the wood or knots or whatever, but it just, to me, it just gives the guitar a lot of life looking at it. It's just not just a plain finish all the way around or the same thing across. I do like the burst. The burst is pretty good. Blue's not my favorite, but I actually do like it on this guitar because of all the different patterns in the wood. What I do love about this guitar is the natural binding. I don't know if you can see inside the horn here, but the natural binding, you can see all the wood grain in there, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And of course, the back is, this is solid mahogany on the back side here. And the neck, this was another big thing for me over the Prestige, was the neck. This neck is maple, walnut, Purple Heart, and something we all love to say, Panga Panga, which also happens to be the top, Panga Panga. So if you're ever sitting around and you don't feel good and you're kind of sad, just run around saying Panga Panga. Always makes you feel better. So this neck being Panga Panga, I like the color of the neck, and this neck actually is 1 millimeter thicker than the neck on the Prestige. This is the Wizard 7 neck, and it is an 11-piece neck. And I know the Prestiges, they do have titanium truss rods in them. These are not titanium. I just assumed just straight metal truss rods. But the neck on this thing is dead solid stable. I've never had any issues with it flexing or anything. And it holds up unbelievably well. And since I've had this, I have been fortunate enough to play quite a few shows with this guitar. It did take me a while to kind of adjust to it, coming off of my Wolfgangs. The biggest adjustment for me was actually the top markers on the fretboard. I had a very hard time adjusting to that. I never really noticed that, or when I'm playing, I never look at the fret markers, but I guess I'm picking them up in the peripheral of my vision, so I always know where I'm at. And with these being on top, I actually spent the first couple of weeks lost. I was just kind of bouncing all over the place. So it took me a little while actually to adjust to that. I do wish they would put the fret markers down into the center of the frets. I like them better down there. Not my favorite, but it's like anything else. You do it enough, you'll get accustomed to it. This does have the, I don't know what the hell they call them, glow dots, whatever they are. The markers on top of the neck, these glow when you charge them up. And I thought, man, that's great. Dark stage, be able to see my frets, not a problem. Yeah, that's great for about 5 minutes. That's about how long they glow before they go away. Another bad point here is once they go away, again, I don't know if you can see this, but they're not white. The fret markers are actually very dark. So if you're on a dark stage and once the lights go out and the glowing has stopped, now all of a sudden you can't even see your top fret markers. So now you really got a problem. So I always try to carry some type of light, which I want some kind of light on me anyway when I'm playing, just so I can see everything that's going on stage. But playing this guitar on a dark stage is nearly damn impossible, because with the top fret markers, to me, just hard to pick up and visualize right off the top. It is nice that they did do white on such a dark fretboard, but the ones on the top, forget about it. You can't see them at all. Once the lights go out, they disappear. You got about 5 minutes of glow, charge them up with your phone, and they glow fairly bright for about 2 minutes. Then they just start steadily dimming off. I wish they would come up with a better solution than that. The solution for me is just make them white. This guitar does have the Edge 2 Zero Tremolo on it. This is a really good tremolo system. Now granted, it is not the Low Pro that comes on the Prestige. I don't know if you've ever played a Low Pro tremolo, but they are absolutely amazing. All guitars should come with a Low Pro tremolo. I like them better than the Floyds, better than everything else I've played. The Low Pros they're fantastic. And until you play one, I can't sit here and explain to you how nice of a trim system they actually are. Although this is a very good trim system. I've played full 4-hour shows and never had to tune this thing one time. It's just a great tremolo. It's rock solid stable, so you'll have no problems with that. Another great thing about this guitar, in particular this one, is it also comes with go-to locking machines. Most guitars that come with a locking nut do not have locking machines. That's a fail. The nice thing about locking machines, besides the fact it adds to the stability of everything, is when you're on stage, you break a string, grab your other guitar, your set ends, you have a couple of minutes to change a string. You don't have to sit here and wind endlessly or pull your drill out and spin your key. Grab the string, put it through, pull it tight, lock it, cut it, give it a couple of winds, tune it, done. Fantastic idea, very smart on Ibanez. Another great feature on this guitar, actually there's a couple more great features on this guitar. If you see this little knob right here on the back of the trim system, this is a lot of the reason why this trim system is so stable, the way they've designed this. And those guys over in Ibanez in Japan, I mean, they're brilliant. Those guys are brilliant when it comes to guitars and things that they do on the guitar. This system here, now I run 10 to 46 strings down a half step, and I don't change my string gauge. But from my understanding, I've not tried the sound. If you threw, let's say 9 to 42s on here, get the guitar, tune it up, turn your little knob here, it'll set the tremolo where you need it, you're done. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to break out screwdrivers and claws and start adjusting, crank that wheel, and you're done. One thing I do like about the S guitars in particular is I love the jacks. They got them in the front. And the fact that they set it down and at an angle. If you're using a cord and you accidentally step on it while you're walking, it does not pull your cable out. It cannot pull out. Again, brilliant design by the guys at Ibanez. The nice thing about not having it here is when you're soloing, like everybody else, every once in a while you'll throw your leg up on something and you can actually set the guitar on your thigh while you solo. Now that we've talked enough about my Ibanez S1070PBZ Cerulean Blue, made out of Panga. Let's see how this thing sounds. We're going to do it first. Tell you what, I'm going to jump on the Kemper here. I'm not running this direct. I'm coming out of a Head Rush FR straight into the room mics. Let's go. Let's go to a clean channel. And what we're going to do here is this is an EVH 5153. Kind of lost what it was. And this is a 6L6. This is the profile for this. If you watched my other video on intervals, I opened up that video playing Whitesnake, Is This Love? This is the sound I used for that. So I'm going to turn this up a little bit so we can hear really well what these clean channels sound like. Let's go through the pickups and see what we got. Okay, I'm on the rear pickup, which is my humbucker here. Okay, we're going to switch. We're going to the second position, and it is this coil and the middle. That's a good sound. I like that. A little bit of light distortion and a little phase on that would sound fantastic. Now we're going to go up to the middle position, which is the True Velvet in the center. I like that. That's a good tone. That's a good tone. I do like that one. All right, now we're going to go to the fourth position, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the True Velvet, and then the front half of the double coil, kind of give you that Fender twangy sound. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, that's definitely got that. Definitely got that Fender tone to it, so that is nice for all those guys who do want that sound. Now we're going to the front pickup. Let's see what this sounds like. This is an Air Norton, which is not my favorite DiMarzio pickup. It's okay, but this pickup's probably going to end up out of here. This is a Tone Zone. Again, not my favorite pickup, but it's still a really good pickup, which you'll hear in a minute. It's got a lot of girth and a lot of bite to it. And the True Velvet, these are fantastic center pickups. If I end up changing this out, more than likely this is probably going to go with a lace sensor, a silver or gold. I really do like the lace sensor pickups. That's probably what I'll end up in here. I do really like the Nita Strauss Jiva 10. The pickups in hers are called the Pandemonium. Now, she does run the True Velvet in the middle, but she has the Pandemoniums here. And the Pandemoniums, I like those better than this. So chances are they may end up in this guitar, the Pandemoniums. The rear is not quite as hot as this, which is fine for me, because that means it's just not going to generate as much noise, because if I need gain, I got all the gain in the world I need right here. So I think these are running around 17, and I think the Pandemoniums run around 14. So it's not going to be as hot as this, but they're really good sounding pickups, and I do like them. More on that later. So with that being said, we're going to go to a different clean sound, because this is kind of a high chimey clean. So we're going to step down to something not as chimey. Here we go. This is actually a profile of a Fender Twin, so it's going to be a little more girthy. Let's get a little volume on this dude so we can hear it. So you can tell it's quite a bit more. Get a little more volume on it. I don't know if you guys can hear that out there in YouTube world. Yeah, you should be able to hear that. So here we go again, rear pickup. Split the two off right here. Now you probably notice a bit of a volume drop there. It's because when I pick right here over this pickup, and my pick hits it, tick, 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 and it kind of gets in my way. So I have to lower this pickup down on guitars that have 3 pickups. So that's why you're going to have the volume drop, but you should still hear that. Okay, now we're going to the center pickup, the True Velvet. That's a good sound. All right, fourth position, these 2 pickups. That's a good tone too. That's a good warm sound. I like that. Now to the front. And still, to me, that front still has a very wooden sound. I'm not a huge fan of the Air Norton pickup. It's not my favorite pickup. So, in all reality, these 2 are probably going to turn into Pandemonium pickups. I'm going to leave the True Velvet here in the middle. Like I said, worst case scenario, that'll be changed out to a lace sensor, but I'm pretty happy with this one. Now, one thing I do not like about these setups on guitars is the 5-way switch. One thing that I really like about guitars with 2 double coils is the sound of when you drop it in the middle with those 2 double coils. That's just a good sound. You get the depth from the front, you get the spank from the rear. The 2 together, if you've ever played an ES335 Gibson, drop that dude in the middle, that is one of the most beautiful guitar sounds in the world. It's just amazing. With this, obviously you don't get that. This pickup, these pickups, this pickup, these pickups, this pickup, blah. So honestly, as good as that sound is with these 2, I could do without that. Guthrie Govan, when he was with Sir, the way he had his set up is back this pickup, but when he went to the second position, it was the 2 humbuckers. Then third here, and the rest of it was standard fare. I think all guitars should come that way. So moving on, let's check out some distortion here. Bada bing, bada boom. And we're gonna do a little bit of a low distortion type deal here. This is an EVH 5153 EL34. And as you can see here on the Kemper, distortion is just a touch over half. Still a bit. So here we go. Rear pickup. Sounds good. I like that. Still got a little bit of bite to it, even though I'm running fairly low gain. All right, here we go. Right here. Obviously that cuts the distortion down quite a bit, splitting them up, and the fact that I've got this one a little lower. Middle pickup. See, that's actually not bad, and I do like that, because when I am running really heavy gain, and I need to back off the gain a little bit, if I roll down the volume and it's not doing it, because you're running a real high gain setup, sometimes rolling off your volume just won't pull enough gain out. So I can click up to that middle pickup, and that'll really drop the volume. Drop the gain out of it. Okay, splitting these 2 off right here. Man, I can hear that Fender tonality in that when I play that setup. Still sounds good though. For blues, that would just be fantastic. That would be fantastic for blues. Now the front pickup. Let's see how this thing pans out. Actually not bad. I like it a lot better with distortion than I do without distortion. I like it a lot better that way. Now let's jump this dude up and let's throw some ass on it. Now we're going full balls out. That's what I'm talking about. So here we go. Let's test this out. The rear pickup right here. Quite a bit more gain. Love that sound. That's actually the sound I use 90% of the time when I'm playing. I love that sound. All right, switching out. These 2 pickups right here. Definitely brings that single coil sound to it, how it kind of rounds everything out. Middle pickup. Let's check this one out. Dude, that's not bad for a single middle. That's not bad at all. Still hear that single coil, that kind of that rounded out tone that it puts out. Still not bad. All right, here we go. These two pickups. Now the front pickup. It's not bad, but to me, I can't pinpoint it, but to me, it's still missing something on there, and I'm not sure what that is. It doesn't sound bad on that. That's actually not too bad there. Not too bad there. I can deal with that. That's actually not too shabby. I wish it had just a touch more gain to it. Maybe it was a little more, I guess, buttery is the word I'm looking for. A little creamier type tone. Kind of like a Les Paul. And I know we're talking apples and oranges here, but I like that real creamy tone that Les Paul has, especially when it's the the T498 they put in the front, or is that T496 or T498? Those pickups are just fucking awesome by Les Paul. Now, granted, the body on this is mahogany, and of course, but it's nowhere near as thick as what's on a Paul, obviously, the thin body. But to me, it's worth it. A, the weight. The guitar is, I think, around 7 pounds. And that thin body is just easy to whip around. It's super comfortable. I don't have any issues with it, grinding on my arm or anything like that. With my Wolfgangs and other guitars and the Les Pauls and stuff I find myself playing this way a lot on the side. And it's kind of hard to really play here. Kind of hard to play here because of the binding and the thickness of the guitar. With this one, I actually do find myself playing more with the guitar in front of me here. I can't really play my other guitars that way in front when I'm standing up. Now I can if I'm kind of humped over, which you don't want to do that on the stage. So with it here in front of me, I really don't have a whole lot of issues playing with the guitar in front of me because it's so thin. One thing I wanted to finish this up with is the neck. Now this is a bit of a thinner neck than what I am used to. This is an 11-piece neck, and I believe I mentioned the woods in it earlier. It's got a 15.75 degree radius all the way down. It is not compound. I do like the matching headstock with the matching body. I think that's very good. We got metal knurled knobs that are kind of a stainless steel black to match the stainless steel black trim, which I really do like. Not too big of a fan of this big plastic piece they put on here. Honestly, I could have been just as happy with just a nice cutout for that, or maybe something metal to match the knobs here. For the money, I think this guitar streets for around $13.99. I actually got mine a few hundred cheaper than that. I got a really good deal on this, new. It does come with an Ibanez gig bag. That's a pisser because the gig bag is about the size of a freaking Buick. I could put 7 of these guitars in that gig bag that comes with this. So the first thing I did was ditch that and change that out to give it something a little more secure. I do like gig bags because there's nothing worse than going to a show with 4 guitars and they're all in cases. Piss on that, 2 in a case, 2 in a gig bag, go to the show. So I hope you enjoyed the video on my Ibanez S1070PBZ in Cerulean Blue. That's too damn long. Too damn long of a name. They just need to give them cool names like the Blade and the Edge and shit like that. This 1070PBZ shit, boop, not a good idea. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the review on it. If you have any comments, drop them down into the comments section. If you have any questions, drop them down into the comments sections. Please subscribe to the channel because I've got a ton of stuff coming up. Hopefully that you will like all of it. And to end this up with an old Irish proverb that Jay-Z ripped off, may the best of your today be the worst of your tomorrow. Rock on.